Breaking news, two Clear Creek County deputies are off the force for their roles in the death of Christian Glass.
The sheriff's office announced those deputies, Andrew Buin and Kyle Gould, were fired after a grand jury indictment. Buin is facing 3 charges, including second-degree murder. Gould is charged with criminally negligent homicide and reckless endangerment. Both were listed as being in custody currently.
Glass was shot and killed back in June. He called 911 after his vehicle was stuck in Silver Plume. The internal investigation into the shooting is still open. The sheriff's office, however, says early findings show policy and procedural failures.
Christian's parents released a statement through their attorney saying they are relieved appropriate charges have been brought against some of those responsible for the murder of their son. They said justice for Christian will require all those involved being held accountable.
We're getting our first look at the accused Club Q shooter. El Paso County shared their mugshot, and you can see their face and neck just covered with bruises after patrons tackled and beat them. The suspect made their first court appearance virtually yesterday. They were slumped in a wheelchair behind their 2 attorneys. The suspect is due back in court December 6th. They could be formally charged on or before that date.
As the legal process for the suspect moves forward, we are hearing from their dad for the first time. Aaron Brink is a former adult film star and now an MMA fighter in Southern California. He says he hasn't talked to the suspect in years. In fact, Brink said at one point he thought his son was dead and didn't know the suspected shooter identified as non-binary.
I gotta know, because I was horrified he was gay. I was like, oh my God, he's in a gay bar because he's gay. And I'm not saying that I'm homophobic or anything, but I mean, like, oh my God, to find someone out like that, I just don't want to think he was gay. You know, I'm not nothing against gay people, because like, these people that are victims, there's no reason why you go kill somebody.
Yeah, in a rambling interview there, Brink said his child's actions are inexcusable and wants the victims' families to know he's sorry.
In light of today's holiday, a Colorado Springs church is stepping in to give Thanksgiving meals to those in the LGBTQ community. The dinner is hosted by the United Court of the Pikes Peak Empire. That's the oldest LGBTQ organization in southern Colorado. The meal is usually held at Club Q, but this year a local church is hosting. Organizers say if you're able to, then to please drop off cooked Thanksgiving food before lunchtime so those in need can be served.
The number of mass shootings in the U.S. reached another tragic milestone this week. Tuesday night's shooting at the Virginia Walmart was the 607th multiple victim shooting of the year. That makes this year the 3rd year in a row where the number of such shootings has passed 600. The Gun Violence Archive recorded 610 of these shootings in 2020 and 690 last year. And as the investigation continues in Virginia, we are now hearing from traumatized witnesses. Here's Angela Bowen.
Elsie Delgado choked up when thinking about the horror inside Walmart. She was shopping with her 8-year-old daughter.
I was trying to check out, and when he started firing, I kind of ducked down with my daughter. There was another lady beside me. And when I saw that there was no shooting towards her side, I took my daughter and ran out as the guy was still shooting.
Just 2 days before Thanksgiving, Chesapeake police say there were about 50 people inside the store at the time. One of them was Marissa Miller.
I took off my shoes so they couldn't hear me moving, and I ran to like the men's clothing section and got like hid under where the jeans were. Like if they had seen me and knew that I was sitting there watching them the whole time, they probably would have shot me.
7 people were killed, including the gunman who police identified as 31-year-old Andre Bing of Chesapeake. I talked with a Chesapeake woman who did not want to be identified, but she said she worked at this Walmart for about 13 years and knew the alleged gunman. She now drives for a rideshare company and was actually trying to bring a passenger to the store when they saw the chaos.
At first, I thought it was just a shooting outside the parking lot, gang-related, but I didn't know it was my former employees until later.
As news of the tragedy spreads throughout the world, Virginia residents are stopping by to give their condolences and offer support, including prayer warrior Jeannie Griffith.
My heart just broke, and I just felt an overwhelming urge from the Lord that I had to be out here to pray for people, whether it be in a college campus, whether it be at a bar somewhere. Wherever the tragedy happens, we're all connected.
Investigators are still working to figure out what the motive was behind the shooting.
Well, it is 5:07 right now, and if you're up and at 'em, you might be preparing that Thanksgiving dinner for later today, but you're not the only early riser this morning.
No, Denver 7's Veronica Acosta is at the Salvation Army in Denver right now, where thousands of meals are being prepared by volunteers for today's Thanksgiving dinner. I peeled potatoes last night, about 10 pounds of them, Veronica, so I feel like I have a little idea of what they're going through. But I mean, this is feeding the masses today, yeah.
You're exactly right, but get this, some of these folks, they've actually been up since before 2:30. I know we usually get up early. They got up way earlier this morning to get here and then start some of those preps. And you mentioned thousands of meals. That's because they're getting 7,000 ready for the rest of today for so many people, those who live in shelters, we're talking individuals, families, those who live in hotel shelters, and then even those who live in some of those safe outdoor spaces. So a lot going on in the kitchen this morning, but we're going to show you a little bit of what they've done so far. So they did a lot of this prep last night, kind of like you did, Nicole, except they actually started getting their turkey and all of the good stuff ready. So right over here, they seasoned, prepped it. This is just some of it, of course. You can see in some of these warmers, just making sure everything is okay. They have a ton of others in this space as well. Another one filled with turkey. You have another one with mashed potatoes. And we are talking about a big operation, obviously. Getting these meals ready did require a lot of food. 950 pounds of turkey, 210 pounds of potatoes, 1,500 bottles of water, 1,200 dinner rolls, 720 pumpkin pies, 1,000 pints of milk. And they have so many boxes of rolls, you guys. The meal prep, though, it does go until about 10 to 11 this morning. So there's a lot of volunteers here, a lot of chefs, making sure that everything is ready. And then they're going to start passing out some of these meals closer to noon. So we're going to bring you some more information here about all of the meal prep in about an hour or so. We're going to be talking to some of the folks who work here and have been working here for so long now to make sure that they can get this all ready for everyone out there. Guys, back to you.
Right, Veronica thinks, so they did 20 times as many potatoes as I did, so I won't even say I know what they're working with now. If you have any last minute needs for your Thanksgiving meal today, you'll have some options. We did some checking and found King Superstores will be open from 6 a.m. till 4 p.m. Whole Foods will be open from 7 to 4, Sprouts from 7 to 2. Safeway stores, some will be open, but it varies by location, so call first. Thanksgiving Day is a closed day for Walmart and Target. Taking a look live now at Wash Park, where I hope you will join me in just a few hours for the 49th running of the Mile High United Way's Turkey Trot. Denver 7 is a proud sponsor. The first wave of the 5K race kicks off at 9 a.m. this morning. This year's Turkey Trot is expected to be the biggest ever for Mile High United Way. In fact, they broke a registration record earlier this week. And Lisa, I think it's probably because of the commercial of you and Gobbles getting ready for